Hi, this is the third and final video for Lesson 8. Lesson 8 is pretty simple, working with layers. Not too difficult, kind of get an easy week. Next week you have 2 videos. I'm going to try to get them done pretty soon so you guys can get started on them at your own pace. So we're on page 263 under Applying Appearance Attributes to Layers. So this is going to be really fun. If you're used to Photoshop, this is going to be really cool. So we're going to make sure we're in Adobe Illustrator, not in QuickTime for screen recording. And we're going to click on the triangle to the left of the TV body to kind of show all the contents for TV body. And we're going to click on the target icon, which is that circle, to the right of the path. So we're going to click here. So you see it's going to indicate this layer. And when you click the target icon, it indicates that you want to apply an effect, style, transparency, or change that layer, sublayer, group, whatever. It becomes targeted. As you can see, those circles kind of double up. So now we're going to go to Effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow. Effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow. We're adding a drop shadow to kind of have some effect. Now this is going to show up, there's a bunch of different effects. I'm going to click on my preview so I can see the results. The default is multiply, but these blending modes are familiar if you are a Photoshop user. I'm going to change the opacity to 50. And every time we make an adjustment, it's going to kind of reapply. And the X offset to 0, Y 0.1, and blur 0.1 if necessary. The blur kind of gives a nice softness to it when you're dealing with a nice drop shadow. If you don't want it to be too harsh, sometimes people do. You know, there's a nice light drop shadow. So I'm going to click OK. And remember, this isn't working via pixels. This is still working with paths, gradients, and lines. So we're going to open the Appearance panel, which is kind of like this sun-looking thing. If we pull it up to the kind of information, we notice that drop shadow has been added to the list of appearance. So it's here, and we can hide this drop shadow if we don't like it. It's not within our normal layers, paths, and panels. It is under the Appearance panel, so keep that a note. So now we're going to use the Layers panel to copy an appearance attribute onto a layer and then edit it. So we have our Layers panel here to show it if necessary. So we're going to click on the arrow to the left of the side panel to reveal its contents. So we have side panel here, and we are going to go to the knobs sublayer. It's going to kind of select everything. And we're just going to do an alt click of it. And it should be applied to it. So it didn't work. So we're going to just click and we're going to select right here. So now we're going to try to do that alt click for knobs. And it did not do that. So what I'm going to do is go back to here, click this drop shadow, See, it should have been applied to these knobs, and it isn't. So I'm going to go back to this path, find the drop shadow, and see what happens if I do a command. Doesn't. Because if I'm going back to page 264, we've applied this drop shadow. And I want us to select and then deselect because we don't want to be selected on anything. So we click on the Layers panel icon to the right side to reveal the contents. We're at Alt-click the targeted shaded target icon, which is this circle, for the knobs. And without, it's going to make it into a light gray and then release. So we're going to click on here, hold down Option, click, select, so it's supposed to make it into a fill. Aha. So what I did is I clicked, held down Alt, click, drag from that little circle up to the knobs, back up here. So if I go up here, it's in my attributes for my knobs. So I kind of clicked and then dragged, and then it's there. So what I'm going to do is actually in my knobs, we're going to double click on our drop shadow here and take that 50 up to an 80. Tab over, everything looks good. Make a subtle gradient change for this because we decided that's what it needed. And we're just going to zoom out. And for some reason it moved this there. TV body is supposed to go up there, and it should have not changed. And I can go underneath. Kind of hidden. We'll do a Command S. And the last thing we're going to do is isolate layers. So we're on page 266, the last part. So we're going to click on the layers icon, and we're going to select the entire side panel right there. So I'm going to click here to select everything. And from our layers panel, we're going to go into isolation mode, enter isolation mode. And again, we notice it's kind of grayed out, and this panel up here, that's how we can adjust things if we need to. So we're going to zoom in. We're going to take the selection tool and shift click the two small knobs. So they're both selected. I'm going to place the arrow key down twice to move them down. And then we're just going to hit the escape key to exit. Deselect, do a Command S, and now the artwork is complete. If we want to combine all the layers into a single layer and then delete the empty layers, you can flatten the artwork. Delivering finished artwork in a single layer file can prevent accidents such as hiding layers and omitting parts of the artwork. So this is helpful if you're submitting things to clients within the Illustrator document, but you don't want them to make adjustment, and you would just kind of highlight things and do merge selected when you can, kind of like in Photoshop when you merge layers. Only do this within a copy. Never do it to your original. You want to keep your original full of all your layers, full of your mistakes, I feel, because one day you're going to want all those layers or all those little adjustments. So keep that in mind. So the last is we're going to zoom out and do our export file export. We're going to go to JPEG, use artboards, and we can do all since there's only one artboard. And you can click export, resolution high, 10, click OK. And then I would submit both the files for a grade for on Canvas. So I hope this helped you understand layers. You can find things, rearrange things. And so you're getting a familiarity with what layers and what they can offer you. I'll see you next time.